When you are struggling, broke, or trying to rebuild your life from scratch, your spiritual radar is razor sharp. You are alert out of pure necessity. You read every room, you analyze every motive, and you listen closely to that quiet warning in your chest, because you know that one bad partnership, one toxic relationship, or one careless decision could completely wipe you out. Survival forces vigilance. But something very quiet and very dangerous happens when you start winning. When your business takes off, when your finances stabilize, when your platform grows, or when you finally step into a season of comfort, your relationship with your own discernment changes. You start giving people passes you would have never given them 5 years ago. You stop vetting motives because you feel secure. You begin to mistake your financial or social buffer for actual spiritual safety. Here is the uncomfortable truth nobody talks about. Success does not refine your spiritual discernment. It dulls it. Comfort creates a subtle form of blindness. Today, we are going to break down why high achievers and successful believers are often the easiest people to deceive, the 3 stages of how comfort turns off your internal radar, and how to keep your discernment sharp even when life is going completely right. Let's step into this. The 3 traps of comfort. To understand why your radar dulls when you succeed, you have to understand what success actually does to your environment. It introduces 3 distinct traps that slowly disarm your internal defenses. Trap 1. The Flattery Shield. When you are struggling, people present you with obvious red flags. They are aggressive, rude, or clearly transactional. But when you become successful, the caliber of pretender changes entirely. Successful people do not deal with obvious enemies. They deal with polished, articulate, well-dressed flatterers. Deceptive people do not attack a successful person with hostility. They attack them with unconditional agreement. They study what you care about, validate your vision, compliment your intelligence, and tell you exactly what your ego wants to hear. And because your ego feels completely safe around them, your internal radar lowers its guard. Trap 2. The insulation illusion. Money, status, and success build a cushion around your life. You start thinking, I have enough resources, legal backing, or influence to protect myself now. You subconsciously believe that your position makes you untouchable. But financial insulation is not spiritual protection. A contract can protect your bank account, but it cannot protect your peace, your mental health, or your household from a deceptive presence you willingly let through the front door. Trap 3. Friction Avoidance. When your life is finally peaceful and comfortable, you don't want to feel that heavy, uneasy friction in your chest anymore. You want to enjoy your success. So, when your spirit flags a subtle, quiet warning about a new business partner, a manager, or a friend, you intentionally ignore it. You tell yourself, let me not be cynical. Everything is going so well right now, I don't want to cause unnecessary drama. You choose temporary comfort over permanent clarity. The Lesson of David. There is a powerful historical pattern in Scripture that perfectly illustrates this reality, and we see it in the life of King David. When David was a young man being hunted by Saul in the wilderness, his discernment was flawless. He lived in caves, slept on rocks, and moved in constant danger. Because he was in the wilderness, he was completely dependent on the quiet voice of God. He survived every trap, read every room, and never made a move without inquiring of the Lord, because one wrong step meant death. Now look at when David experienced his most catastrophic spiritual and personal breakdown. It didn't happen in the wilderness while he was fighting for his life. It happened in 2 Samuel 11, when he was sitting in his palace, comfortable, victorious, and surrounded by wealth, while his army went out to war. It was in his season of maximum comfort, victory, and ease that his radar completely shut down. He stopped paying attention, made a series of reckless decisions, and set off a chain reaction of consequences that plagued his family for the rest of his life. The lesson is sobering. The wilderness rarely kills your spiritual radar, but the palace will put it to sleep if you aren't careful. Comfort is a far more dangerous environment for a sensitive spirit than struggle ever was. So, how do you protect your clarity when you are in a season of growth, success, and abundance? You have to build deliberate habits that keep your radar active. Here are 3 rules you need to implement immediately. 1. Audit the agreement around you. Be deeply suspicious of anyone in your inner circle who never disagrees with you, never questions your timing, or constantly flatters your perception. A true ally cares about your long-term alignment. A flatterer only cares about staying in your good graces. Look for people who speak to you with calm, respectful honesty, not performative praise. 2. Maintain wilderness discipline. Do not abandon the spiritual habits that got you through your hardest seasons just because you no longer feel desperate. Keep your routines of quiet solitude, fasting, and deep reflection, even when you don't need to pray for an immediate breakthrough. Solitude clears the noise of public validation and resets your internal baseline. 3. Separate comfort from safety. Never mistake a smooth environment for a safe environment. Just because a situation feels easy, profitable, or pleasant does not mean it is aligned with your spirit. Practice listening to the quiet, subtle weights in your chest before they turn into loud, chaotic fires you have to put out later. God does not give you success so you can turn off your mind and sleep at the gate. As your reach, resources, and influence grow, the stakes of your decisions become higher, not lower. Your discernment needs to sharpen in proportion to your growth. Stop apologizing for being vigilant. Stop letting flattery disarm your intuition. And never let comfort convince you that you no longer need your spiritual radar. Let me know in the comments below. Have you ever let your guard down during a good season, only to realize later that you ignored clear warning signs? Let's talk about it in the comments. If this conversation brought clarity to your mind, make sure to hit the subscribe button. We talk about the real, unvarnished realities of faith, discernment, and personal growth on this channel. Guard your peace, stay vigilant, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye for now.